Hello and welcome to Performing Database Backup Practice. In this practice, we will see how to take a backup to trace for your control file, how to configure control file auto backup on, and how to take a backup for your database. Let's start by taking a backup for your control file to trace. The trace, again, it is a SQL script that contains a SQL statement to recreate the control file in case you lost all control file of your database. So you can use either Database Express or you can use SQL commands. To use Oracle SQL commands to take backup control file to trace, you have to first connect to the database RMAN ORCL SQL plus /SSDBA alter database backup control file to trace. If you don't specify a location, the trace file will be stored in the same location as your alert log file. If you want to specify a different location, you can use as, for example, /temp control_trace.sql database alter. Let's confirm. Go to /temp. So this is the trace file of your control file, which is a script that contains a SQL statement to recreate your control file. All these are comments. This is startup no mount, log file, data files. As you can see here, this is create control file. So it is again a SQL script to recreate your control file in case you lost all your control files of your database. To use SQL Express to backup your control file to trace, you can go to storage, control files. Here, as you can see, backup to trace. You can show a SQL statement that will be used, alter database backup control file to trace. If you don't specify the location, as in case you are using the Database Express, the trace control file will be stored at the same location as the alert log file. This is the trace file. You can take copy, close, you can go to the same location of your alert log file, which is under Oracle base, RDBMS, name of the database, name of the instance, trace. This is the location. So this is the name of the trace file. As we can see, this is the SQL script that contains SQL commands to recreate the control file. Second part of the practice, how to enable control file auto backup on. Enable control file auto backup on means Oracle will automatically take a backup of your control file and server parameter file following any backup command. For example, backup database, backup archive log, or backup data file 1, 2, or whatever the backup you run. Oracle automatically, after finishing the backup you run, will take a backup of your control file and server parameter file. Let's connect to the database RMAN ORCL. To connect to RMAN, you can use the command RMAN target. You can specify sys user, password of the user, which is, for example, Oracle_for_you, enter. Oracle will connect to the database specified during running RMAN, or you can use, for example, RMAN target sys password at ORCL by using TNS name. So RMAN should give you a message like connected to target database, ORCL, and database ID. You have to make sure you are connecting to the target database that you are planning to take a backup for. To see the backup settings, again, we can use a command called show all. This command gives you all RMAN persistent settings or the backup settings. Again, all backup setting is stored in the control file. These are all default values. If you want to change a specific value, you can copy the value that you want to change and specify different value. Instead of specifying configure control file auto backup off, you can specify configure control file auto backup on. Let's confirm the change, show all. As you can see, it is on now. The default is removed because the default is off. If you change it to on, the default will be removed from the parameter. All others are default, as we can see here. So this is how to configure control file auto backup on. How to take a backup for your database. The main command to backup your database is backup command. Backup. If you put backup database, Oracle will take a full backup and the backup will be stored as backup set. The location of the backup will be stored in the fast recovery area, and backup information will be stored in the control file. So running a command backup database, the backup database command will generate a backup information called metadata. The backup metadata will be stored in the control file, and the backup files will be stored in the fast recovery area. Backup database, by default, the backup is a full backup and the backup stored as backup set. So Oracle will take all blocks that contains data in all database files part of the database in the backup set. So Oracle finish the backup. After Oracle finish the backup of your database, will start a control file and SP file automatically because we enable control file auto backup on. So again, the backup will be stored in the fast recovery area. As we can see, this is the location of the backup. /01 app Oracle fast recovery area ORCL. It will be stored under backup set, date of the backup, and then a system generated name. Also for the auto backup, it will be stored under a fast recovery area, name of the database, but instead of backup set, it will be stored under auto backup because this is the auto backup of control file and SP file, the current date, and a system generated name. If you want to show information about your backup, you can use list backup, for example, summary. As we can see, we have two backups. The first one, which is the backup of the database, and the second one, which is backup of the control file and SP file, which is the auto backup on. To see more information about your backup, you can use list backup. If you want to see a specific backup details, tag and the name of the tag. So this is a detailed information about a specific backup. As we can see, this is a full backup. Size is 1.4 giga, stored in the disk. Elapsed time 30 seconds to finish. This is the completion time. This is the tag. It's not compressed, still available. Backup stored under fast recovery area, and these are all the files part of the backup. If you want to see more information about the second backup, list backup, for example, tag, second tag. As we can see, the details of the second backup. The size is 9.64 mega, stored in the disk. SP file included, control file included. So this is the control file and SP file auto backup. If you want to take a backup as copy, as we can see, the default is a backup set. We can use backup as copy database. So in the backup set, the generated output is only one file that contains all used blocks from all data files part of the database. While in the image copy backup, the output will be file copy per each database file. Let's go to the fast recovery area and confirm the backup files. Change 01 app fast recovery area, name of the database capital. So as we can see, this is backup set. This is the auto backup. This is the backup as image copy. If you take as backup set, will be stored here. If you take as image copy, will be stored here. Data file. As we can see, we have one file copy per each Oracle database file. Again, this is the image copy backup, and after finishing image copy backup, Oracle take a control file and a SP file because we enabling control file auto backup on. So if you put list backup summary, Oracle should return 3 backups: backup of your database that taken as backup set, backup of control file and SP file auto backup that taken after finishing the backup set, and the backup of control file and SP file that taken after finishing the image copy. So as we can see, this is the backup as backup set, this is the backup for control file, this is the backup for control file. To see information about the backup that taken as image copy, again we can use list copy of database. So this is the backup taken as copy for your database. It is stored under fast recover area, name of the database, under data file directory. This is image copy for system data file, this is image copy for test TBS data file, and so on. There will be one image copy data file per each database file part of the database. If you want to take a backup for archive logs, you can use, for example, backup archive log all command. So Oracle will take a backup for all archives log as a backup set and stored in the fast recover area, and after finishing taking the archive logs backup, Oracle will take the control file and SP file automatically. So far we don't have incremental level 0 backup, we only have a full backup. So what will happen if we try to take incremental level 1 for our database? Let's try to do that. Backup incremental level 1 database. Again, incremental level 1 should be taken on top of incremental level 0. You cannot take incremental level 1 unless you have incremental level 0. So if you try to back up incremental level 1 database and you don't have an incremental level 0, Oracle first will take incremental level 0 and then will take incremental level 1 backup. So as we can see, starting incremental level 0 data file backup set. So Oracle will take first incremental level 0 as we don't have yet an incremental level 0 backup. After taking the incremental level 0 backup, Oracle will take incremental level 1 backup. So in this chapter, we learn how to take a backup for your database. We learn how to enable auto backup on for the control file, and we learn how to back up the control file to trace. I hope this video was informative for you, and thank you for watching.